Welcome back, dear viewers, and you are still watching Cairo Local Time. And in this segment of our program, we will talk about the latest archaeological discoveries in Saqqara area, as Egypt announces the discovery of the two largest mummification workshops, two tombs, and a number of artifacts in Saqqara. And to shed more light on the importance of this discovery, we are joined over the phone by Dr. Atef. He has a PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies. Good afternoon, Dr. Amr.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So, sir, as I've just mentioned, that an important archaeological discovery took place in Saqqara necropolis last week, and two largest mummification workshops, two tombs, and a number of artifacts were discovered. And actually, this archaeological discovery has attracted the world attention. So, can you tell us more about its importance?
Well, Saqqara, is not stopping to impress us.
Yes.
And the Saqqara necropolis, of course, as you know, the Egyptian archaeologists, under the supervision of Dr. Mustafa Waziri,
Yes.
the head of the Antiquities Department, and the head of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, actually, they discovered first the Bubastian tombs. And the Bubastian tombs, of course, had lots of statues and coffins and so on and so forth. But this discovery that you're talking about is considered to be as important as the previous discovery, if not more.
As what?
As important as the previous discovery,
Yes.
if not more.
Yes, yes.
Well, this discovery, as for the workshops, the mummification workshops, we found mummified workshops of human workshop and also animal mummification workshop. The human mummification workshop is a rectangular building, and it's made out of mud brick with a length of 2 meters and a width of 50 centimeters. They found lots of pottery jars and jars of the hess, which was used in the mummification process. This proves that the mummification process was for humans in this workshop. As for the animal workshop, it's a rectangular building, and it's built out of mud brick as well, with an entrance of limestone, and it's divided into halls and side rooms. They also discovered some mummification jars and some animal relics with different sizes. Also, they found 5 beds of limestone kind of sunk in the floor, and it was most probably used for mummifying sacred animals related to goddess Bastet. And if we can say that the Rosetta Stone helped deciphering the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic language, we can say that those two mummification workshops will decipher the mummification process for the ancient Egyptians.
Yes.
Because the secret of mummification, we know a lot about mummification, but all what we need is one of those inscriptions, one of those notebooks of one of, if I would call mummifiers, of one of those who used to work in this mummification workshops, to decipher the secrets of the mummification process. They also discovered a tomb, two tombs, as you mentioned.
Yes.
One belongs to Ni-Hisud Ba, and he was a high official from the Old Kingdom around 2400 BC, and he carried lots of titles like the chief of the scribes and the priest of Horus the falcon, and goddess Ma'at, the goddess of justice, and the responsible for digging, and he was also the responsible for digging the canals. That was some of his titles. So this tomb is also considered to be very significant. The second tomb belongs to a man named Menkhepper, and he is from the New Kingdom, 18th dynasty, around 1400 BC, and he carried also lots of titles of goddess Kadesh, and she was the goddess of fertility and the lady of the stars of the sky, and was worshipped in the late period of the ancient Egyptian times around the 18th dynasty. The tomb also is rectangular in shape and has scenes of him with his wife, Teb Nefret, and on top of the scenes, there are hieroglyphic inscriptions of the owner of the tomb and his wife. There are lots of scenes as well, daily life scenes, fishing scenes, and the colors are stunning and still in a very good condition. This will also be very inviting for travelers who want to come and visit Egypt, because you know that the travelers would like to come and see new discoveries. They want to see new Egypt. Egypt, I mean, I always say it's not their mother's Egypt or their grandmother's Egypt. It's new Egypt now that the travelers are willing to see. It's what we would call the Instagrammic tours, as I always mention, as a matter of fact.
I think, Dr. Atef, that in Saqqara necropolis should be converted to an open museum, as we have seen now many archaeological discoveries in this rich area. How can we make use of it?
Well, Dr. Mustafa Waziri, as a matter of fact, mentioned this idea.
Yes.
Dr. Mustafa Waziri, the head of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, and he mentioned this idea, and he mentioned that we want to turn Saqqara to an open-air museum.
Yes.
Saqqara has lots of tombs. Travelers, when they come to Egypt, they know about Saqqara by name. They want to visit the site. They want to visit the new discoveries and the new excavations. It's this in Instagrammic tours that they want to see, and this will be an added value for all the tours, and for sure will increase the number of tourists who would be visiting Egypt. Mr. Ahmed, the Minister of Antiquities Department, mentioned as well, Mr. Ahmed Musa mentioned as well that the new discovery, and he had a conference for 46 of the ambassadors from all over the world, and he mentioned that this will be also a new gate for visiting Egypt, and this will be increasing the number of visits. You know that the ministry plan is to increase the number of visitors to Egypt by 30% for the coming years. So that will be again an added value for the tour.
Yes. Also, sir, can you tell us more about the Egyptian archaeological mission that has discovered this important mummification workshops?
Of course, the Egyptian archaeological mission that worked, it was totally discovered and excavated by Egyptian hands and by Egyptian archaeologists. Yes. And under the supervision of Dr. Mustafa Waziri, of course. Yes. And of course, this will be.
So there were no foreign missions?
No foreign missions in this one, no foreign missions involved in this discovery. And this is not the first time, as you know, because also the Bobastian that was discovered before was also discovered by all Egyptian archaeologists and Egyptian mission. Yes. So no foreign missions. And this also shows how Egyptians can impress the world again. Not only that they built this civilization that dates back to 7,000 years ago, but also discovering this civilization and revealing the secrets of the ancient Egyptian civilization wide and straight.
So, sir, to which era do the archaeological discoveries in Saqqara belong to, and what do they tell us about this period, that period?
The archaeological discoveries in Saqqara dates to the Old Kingdom. One of the tombs dates back to 2400 BC, so that's Old Kingdom. And the other one dates back to 1400 BC. And this, the Old Kingdom was the peak of building and the peak of construction. You know that the pyramids of Giza were built in the Old Kingdom. 2600 BC, they built the Giza pyramids. 2700 BC, they built the Step Pyramid. And don't forget that this discovery is next to the oldest building out of stone on earth that was built by King Djoser or King Djeser from the 2700 BC. So this is something to be mentioned. And of course, I mean, I can always say that King Tutankhamun, who dates back to 1350 BC, when he went, or if he went to visit the step pyramid of Saqqara, it already was existing from 1500 years ago. That shows you how spacious the ancient Egyptian civilization is, and it's the longest civilization that ever lasted, no doubt about it.
So, sir, Saqqara is the land of secrets and great discoveries that have always attracted the whole world. Do we have more archaeological discoveries expected in this area? Do we have many other missions working now?
Look, of course, we have lots of missions working. We have almost 248 missions working in Saqqara, as His Excellency Mr. Ahmed Isa mentioned, the Minister of Antiquities and the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities. So there are lots of missions working in the area, and of course they will be discovering more. The archaeological digs and discoveries are very active, and when the travelers go to Saqqara, they can see the Egyptian archaeologists and the Egyptian workers who are, unveiling the silk and unveiling the sand, working from 7 o'clock in the morning until late in the afternoon. So they can see them when they walk inside the site, and they can see them when they're leaving, and they comment that they are working all through the day to unveil the secrets and to encourage tourism and the number of tourists that will be coming to our beloved country, Egypt.
So, sir, how can we promote for these archaeological discoveries?
Well, Mr. Ahmed Isa, when he had this press conference with 46 ambassadors, Mr. Ahmed Isa, the Minister of Tourism and Antiquities, when he had this conference with 46 ambassadors, imagine those 46 ambassadors will go back to their offices, and they will send pictures, if I can say, send emails, and make Zoom meetings and tell about what they have seen in their homeland. This is the best way of advertisement as far as I'm concerned. And 46 ambassadors means 46 countries. So 46 members of those countries will be willing to come and visit those new sites. And by the way, people come and ask for the new sites more than the original sites that were opened for the travelers in the past.
Yes, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Amr Atef, PhD in Heritage and Museum Studies. Thank you, sir, for being with us. And as we mentioned, that the Egyptian Archaeological Mission headed by Dr. Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, succeeded in uncovering for the first time the largest 2 embalming workshops, one tailor-made for the mummification of human and the other is for animals, in addition to 2 tombs and a number of artifacts during the mission's excavations for the 6th year in a row at the Cemetery of Sacred Animals in Saqqara. And Mr. Waziri explained that the 2 discovered the workshops date back to the end of the 30th dynasty, and the mission was also able to uncover 2 tombs that date back to the Old and New Kingdoms, in addition to a number of artifacts. Actually, this archaeological discovery has attracted the world attention, as it will tell us more about the secrets of mummification. And by that, dear viewers, we come to the end of today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Thank you for watching.